We have the full super blue moon at 7 degrees of Pisces happening on August 30th at 6:35 p.m. Pacific, which is 9:35 p.m. Eastern. Check your local time to see when this lunar event is occurring for you. Welcome to the last full moon for the 2023 summer lunar cycles. This final one for the season happens to be a blue moon, an event that doesn't happen too often. It's not like your usual new and full moons that we have throughout the month, or even super moons that we have throughout the year, which this one happens to also be a super moon. But blue moons occur when we have 3 full moons in a season, or we have 2 full moons within a month. And the last time we had one of these was August 21st of 2021. Hence the name Once in a Blue Moon, because it only happens every so often, and it's been about almost 2 years or so. Actually 2 years since we've had our last blue moon. And with this being a supermoon, the moon happens to be in a state called perigee, meaning that it's in its closest approach to Earth during its orbit. And this is because the moon's orbit is not perfectly circular, it's an elliptical orbit. So there are times when it is a micromoon, when it's further back in apogee. And then there are times when we have this perigee moon when it's closest to the Earth and appears massive from Earth's perspective. Transit-wise, this moon is mixed baggy in terms of the energies we might be feeling. So there are some harmonious things, but there are also some moments that might feel a little bit harsh in terms of some of the energies that we're experiencing during this moon. And the vibes on the graph reflect that interesting tenor that we're seeing during this lunar event. For the next 3 days, from the 30th to the 1st, we'll have mental energy, but also ambitious energy. And this has a lot to do with the complex transits that are going on. And for this reason, we might feel more determined than normal to take action on our objectives. Then we'll experience some low-grade energy, which might cause us to feel various moods in the background. So there may be some underlying feelings and emotions that we're sensing. Some of the energies that are popping up have to do with family and friends, psychic energy, imagination and confusion, emotional sensitivity, solitude, social, romance, and some good luck undertones. So again, this is one of those mixed bag moons where our moods could be all over the place just based on some of the transits. So there may be some things that may not be more pronounced, but we are feeling them internalized. We're here at the peak of the cycle. Think about what was occurring for you regarding Piscean themes since February 20th of 2023. What type of Piscean qualities did you want to adopt into your life? Full moons are the peak of the cycle where we take stock about what we've learned since the new moon in the exact zodiac sign, and what type of positive qualities we want to adopt. What did we want to manifest for ourselves? What intentions were we trying to set during that time? So that way, by the time we do get to this full part of the lunar cycle, we can move forward with the scenarios that are working, make adjustments to the things that need to be tweaked but are still good enough for us to move forward with, and also let go of situations that are no longer serving us within this energy. So with a sign like Pisces, it has a lot to do with stepping into a cathartic space. So were you at a point where you wanted to walk into your healing era of life? In other words, have you gotten off a period where you're stepping away from things that don't align with your energy that have basically led you to a lack of growth in your life? Sometimes this could be on an energetic level. So if you were walking into a period where you wanted to heal your vibes, this could have been a time to work on that. This could have been a time to work on getting back in alignment. This could have been a time to work on clearing your chakras, working on your aura, and finding other ways to raise your vibration so that way you can heal on an energetic level. Sometimes this could be emotional, and sometimes this emotion can have a lot to do with learning how to regain faith back in yourself and others, learning how to trust yourself again. Sometimes this could look like healing from mental blocks that prevent you from getting into a flow state. Other times it could be about healing harshness within ourselves. Sometimes as human beings, we go through so much that it causes us to be a little bit harsh inside. It causes us to go to a place where we might be more negative than we'd like to be, or more closed off than we'd like to be. And so this could be a period where you're learning how to open yourself back up to people. This could have been a period where you're learning to have more compassion for yourself and also with others. You're learning how to be more empathetic. You're learning how to be more understanding of others and with yourself. And speaking of opening yourself up to other people, has this been a time where you decided to heal your spiritual connections with others and work on having better spiritual connections? Sometimes this could look like foregoing relationships that are no longer serving you. In other words, relationships that are thwarting your spiritual growth, relationships that are holding you back, relationships that bring you to a place of self-sabotage. And it doesn't always have to be romantic relationships. Sometimes it could be various different relations in our lives. Sometimes it could be the platonic relationship in our lives. Sometimes it could be the relationship we have to ourselves that we need to heal in that sort of way to get more spiritually grounded and connect with our higher vibes. Sometimes this could look like not participating in superficial relationships. And again, this could be of all kinds, romantic, platonic, in favor of more profound connections with others, rather than someone that doesn't bring you substance and doesn't feed your soul. Piscean energy is about being boundless. So was this a time for you to work on rigidity? When we heal under Piscean energy, we're lifting restrictions that we've put on ourselves, whether they are imposed by specific situations or by ourselves, that has caused us to live a more limited existence. So was this a time where you were working on not boxing yourself in or having boundaries that were so unbalanced? In other words, boundaries are important, but there needs to be a healthy level of boundaries. Sometimes we can put on so many limits and parameters that we end up painting ourselves into a corner and putting a wall up. And this could have been a period where you're working on balancing it, where you still have good boundaries that protect you and also boundaries with yourself, but also you're able to open yourself up to other things without restricting yourself so much. And whether that's from situations or people, this could have been a time to work on that so that way you have a nice balance in terms of the limits you set. And because Pisces energy is about being an open channel in a lot of ways, was this a time for you to connect with your metaphysical side? Have you learned to let your intuition flow freely and listen to your gut instincts? Get in touch with your psychic energy. Did you use this time to become more open to spirituality, especially with mystical practices that align with your energy specifically? Because everybody has something that they like that resonates with them that might be different from someone else. Spirituality is under a big umbrella, but this could have been a time to really work on being more open to that side of yourself, even developing those skills if it's necessary. Because for some people, they may be going back to a spiritual practice, whereas others may be opening themselves up to something and they're wanting to develop specific skills regarding certain metaphysical things. Some of that could do with psychic abilities, some of that could do with astrology, some of that could do with numerology, learning how to do tarot cards, or the I Ching, or human design. Any of those modalities, this could have been a period where you were working on opening yourself up to those things or coming back to those things as a way to connect with your higher self and feel this sense of spiritual groundedness. Within Pisces energy, we tend to feel this sense of inspiration and get into a flow state with certain things. And yes, that could be your metaphysical side and other things, but also with Pisces energy, a lot of it has to do with creativity. So was this a time where you were coming back to that part of yourself in terms of art, in terms of writing, poetry, music, or anything that allows for us to channel some form of originality into anything that's viewed as an art form? Sometimes doing things like that could put us back on track to healing too. A lot of people who create things find it very cathartic, and so this could have been a period of getting back in alignment with your creative side, leading to connecting with your higher self and a creative space that allows you to heal. Let's look at these transits and see what we can expect from this lunar event. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. So yeah, what I was saying before is this lunar event is mixed bag, and so our moods may fluctuate during this time. Jupiter and Neptune are the dual chart rulers for Pisces, and Mercury will be the chart ruler for Virgo since it is Virgo season, and full moons are when we have an opposition with the sun and the moon in their polar opposite signs. Jupiter, the ancient ruler for Pisces before Neptune was discovered, is making a connection with Uranus. Planets have a little bit of separation between them and will not fully perfect in terms of their conjunction until April of 2024. However, we are starting to feel these energies ease up on us. And with us experiencing this during this blue moon, this may help us have breakthrough moments about things that have been stagnant for a while and are preventing us from leveling up. So this could be a period where we feel more inspired, or we find ourselves having a eureka moment about complex situations that need a resolution. Neptune will connect to Mercury, Venus, and Mars in a way that could cause us to get real about situations that we've been foggy about for some time. Sometimes this could have a lot to do with romantic relationships. Sometimes this has a lot to do with our finances. And in other ways, it may have a lot to do with a lack of motivation. So we might get some sort of insight as to why some of these situations might have been eluding us, and why we need to get honest about situations where we're self-sabotaging in these areas. During this lunar event, the moon is going to be in contact with Saturn in a complex transit. And for this reason, there may be some self-doubt going on during this lunar event. There may be some triggery moments. There may be moments where we might feel numb in some ways. But with energy like this may cause us to understand where we need to get real about shaky situations in our lives, where we need to step up and take responsibility for some of our actions, so that way we have the consistency that we want in life. The other chart ruler for this moon, Mercury, is making harmonious connections to Jupiter and Uranus, which again could put us in positions where we get clear about situations that may seem as though they're complex. So we might end up having, again, a eureka moment in terms of how to get out of a stagnant situation or something that seems like it had no resolution to it. And luckily, even more good news with some of these transits, the sun is making a nice alignment with Jupiter, and this may get us out of our mood. Kind of like I was saying before about this lunar event, it's mixed bag, and so our moods are going to be all over the place, where we're having moments where we're feeling gloomy, especially with the Saturn stuff, but we're also having moments where we're feeling as though, okay, things may look up, things are working out, which is always great to feel as though we're finding that silver lining. And an alignment like this could help us feel that way. So by the end of the day, or by at least the first, we may be shaking off some of that gloomy energy. Especially if we felt disenchanted about our situation overall, this may serve as a pick-me-up and encourage us to do the things that we need to in order to move forward. So this moon could end in some optimistic sort of way for us, which is always a good thing, and this is why we were seeing that ambitious energy and mental energy on the graph. So even though we got some harsh stuff going on during this lunar event, we do have some opportunities to push through, especially with the Uranus and Jupiter stuff, Mercury and Uranus and Jupiter connecting the way they are, and then this alignment with the Sun and Jupiter. It is going to be really helpful for shaking off a lot of the stuff that may be bogging us down. Anyway, I hope you all have the best blue moon in Pisces ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.